Hello, everyone. I'm Chester44, also known as Fly, and welcome to this Let's Play of Wrath of the Righteous. Last episode, more time was spent going through Dresden and exploring it. All we really have left is this area right in the corner here, and then going up into the Citadel. But we have some things to talk to, some people to talk to. Let's start with Arson Row. So, perhaps you've heard about the wound that sometimes opens in my chest. Are you familiar with this kind of ailment? If you want to know the first line, it was at the end of the last episode. Arsenro quickly probes you with the skill of an experienced healer. So the wound was right here, and then it disappeared and reappeared. Amazing. No, this is the first time I've heard of such magic. What do you think it might be? I think it is some kind of demonic corruption, or particles of chaos from the abyss have entered through the wound into your body and made it so unstable. It sounds quite interesting, incidentally. Judging from the records of researchers of the abyss, stranger things have happened in this cursed place. Can you give me some advice on how to heal it? I am sure that you have already used the purification and chaos warding spells. And for obvious reasons, you do not have the option of leaving the campaign and going on a long pilgrimage to various shrines. Since that's the case, keep a diary. Make careful and systematic entries about your well-being. If it gets worse, record the circumstances under which it happens. I'm afraid this is the only advice I can offer right now. Unfortunate. I want you to try to heal me. I'm sorry, but I do not have the right to do that. A healer who makes a blind attempt to heal a patient who is not on the verge of death is an irresponsible fool. You do not seem to be dying, so we will not take any unnecessary risks. Thank you, then. You can use the help of a cleric. Ah, yes. Scrolls and the like. And other things. Diamond dust and diamonds are very rare reagents. That'll be good. Let's see. +5 bonus on perception and trickery checks. Cave of Pest Control. Swarms. Okay. The ability to cast the following spells if they can cast spontaneously. Okay. A bunch of fire spells. This coin grants where the ability to grant any ally. Okay. +1 to caster level for scrolls or potions. Already got a glowing croissant. I will get the... There. I need all the food. I don't care about the crafting reagents. Cooking reagents I'll take. Arachnid goggles. Cannot be flanked. Okay. War Kilt of Sarenrae. Let's see. +2 natural armor bonus to AC, and a +4 competence bonus on mobility checks. But it counts as a belt. And I kind of want to keep the belt. And we have even more scrolls. Wand of Ray of Frost. Interesting design. And... half of the pair. Whenever two creatures wearing different halves of this pendant are within a 10-foot distance of each other, each gets a +2 circumstance bonus on attack rolls and AC. Very, kind of specific. When they deal fire damage through a spell, they deal additional 1d6 +5 fire damage, plus a +2 bonus to caster level checks made to overcome spell resistance. That could be useful for Ember, or for me, who can turn my spells so that they only do fire damage. That's basically a guaranteed 6 to 11 extra damage. Nice. Intelligence +2, also Charisma +2... Ooh, Whenever the wearer of this headband lands a killing blow with a melee weapon, their next spell becomes empowered. I mean, for me, that would be useful. I mean, I use melee weapons. If I kill someone with a melee weapon, my next spell becomes... That is actually very useful for someone like me. I'll have to remember that one. Oh, yeah, deal. What services do you provide? I can sell you various divine spell scrolls. Even if you don't have anyone in your party who can read them, I'll be happy to read it for you right here. However, take care out there on your travels. A scroll is useless without someone who can read it. To use a scroll while you're on the move... Okay. Tell me more about Abadar. I'd be delighted to. Abadar is the patron deity of law, trade, and the prosperity of cities. He teaches that law and order allow civilization to develop and keep people safe and wealthy. Iomedae and Abadar are allies, since Iomedae also holds order and nobility above all else. It's hardly surprising to see so many mighty fortresses and wonderful cities in Mendev bloom under her blessing. How did you end up in Dresden? My story has grown longer and longer over the years, yet sadly it never gets any more interesting. I was born and raised in Absalom. Soon I realized that bringing the word of Abadar to places where it's already been heard was too easy a challenge for a cleric like me. I have traveled all across Galarian since then, watching civilization bring enlightenment to the wildest of places. This brings joy to my heart and makes me feel like I serve my God with my deeds and not only with my words. The tiny barony and the stolen lands that had been my home for a very long time eventually turned into a strong and prosperous kingdom, and I felt that I had to go somewhere else and bring the blessing of Abadar to someone who really needed it. It will take quite a long time for Dresden to recover and become an unfailing stronghold once again. I will do my very best to help. You're in Aasimar, if I'm not mistaken. Oh yes, I am in Aasimar. Hard to miss, isn't it? I look exactly like my great-great-grandmother, but I am the only one among my kin to have Aasimar blood manifest so visibly in my appearance. I have to admit, it is a very fortunate coincidence. My Aasimar features are rather appealing and make people trust me more easily. This is a good quality to have for a priestess wishing to gather a congregation. Fair enough. I see that you have consecrated the altar of Abadar. So I have. And before you ask me why I did this when there is a temple of Iomedae in Dresden, I will answer. Even though my god is the ally of the inheritor, some still prefer to pray and trust in Abadar instead of her. After all, my humble altar is no worse at removing the corruption of the abyss than the grandiose altar in the temple of Iomedae. I don't really know how to say the word grandiose. Grandiose! I'm sorry, I do know how to say it. Forgive me, I seem to have faltered a bit. Alright. And we can speak with our new companion here, Arushale. This should be an interesting conversation. Arushale's ruby eyes stare watchfully at passers-by who don't notice her even at arm's length. She turns to you, her face a mixture of contemplation, sadness, and admiration. They're amazing, aren't they? What are you doing here? I'm watching. She nods at the city dwellers as they hurry past. I'm listening to their conversations, studying their faces. I'm trying to understand what they truly are. Don't you think you're being a little creepy? What? Really? Why? I don't mean any harm. Just people watching, I suppose. Why do you like to watch people? You know, in my old life, I thought I knew everything about them. I was a master of seduction, after all. I knew how to tempt a mortal into doing anything I required. I could trap them in a lie, or lie myself and never get caught. It's disgusting to remember, but that was my life for many centuries. Now I see I knew nothing. A demon warrior probably also considers himself an expert on mortals because he's killed so many of them. He certainly knows where to thrust the spear for a quick death, and where to thrust it for a long and painful one, and he thinks that's enough. My knowledge, it was of the same kind. I ruined many mortals without learning the first thing about them. Now I watch them to understand them. This won't give my victims back their lives, of course, but still, by growing closer to these mortals, it's like I'm paying back some part of my debt to my victims' memories. Have you learned anything new about mortals? Oh, they love cats. Arushale speaks in a very serious manner, as if sharing an important scientific discovery with you. But then a moment later she smiles to give the joke away. I mean, it is true, we do love cats. I am more of a cat person than a dog person. Even though, you know, my species, they generally say, are more cat software running on dog hardware. Regardless. Seriously, have your observations of humans led to anything? I wouldn't want to draw any rash conclusions. I've only been watching them for a short while. But I think I have understood one thing. The succubi have a saying. Mortals always lie. If a mortal isn't talking, it means she's busy lying to herself. But now I see this isn't true. You mortals aren't liars. You're dreamers. Each of you casts a huge daydream for yourself, and everyone you share your life with. It isn't exactly a lie, because the daydream is your truth. Alright, let me ask another question. Of course, but forgive me if I don't have any answers. We're being attacked by demons with unusual powers. Do you know anything about them? Arushale thinks for a long while. Finally, she answers hesitantly. Back in Eleusinera, there were rumors about terrible experiments that Baphomet and Ascari performed on their troops to make them stronger. Here on the material plane, those rumors were embellished with lots of details. Some say the demons undergo rituals acquired from Zon Kuthon. Others say they feed on the blood of angels or clip-offs or demon lords. Still others say that there are no experiments and Baphomet is just bringing back fighters from the future, a future in which the demons have already taken all of Galarian. Is there a grain of truth in any of these ramblings? There's no way to know. Naturally, none of these rumors give any indication of where these demons come from. I'm sorry I can't help. The only thing that's clear is that the lowly fighters in the Army of the Abyss are as puzzled by this as we are. Tell me about yourself. I'm afraid you won't like what I'm going to tell you. Where did succubi come from? Did you have a childhood? No. Well, yes, but... In brief, the Abyss is nothing like the mortal world. Arushale makes a gesture in the air, trying to find the right words. You remember life since conception. No? Wait, you don't remember that part, do you? But certainly you know everything since birth. We do not. Okay, maybe not everything. Normally when a human dies, the Lady of Graves decides which plane they go to. Most often, those who arrive in the Abyss turn into larvae. You know, the little worms no one notices until you step on them. They crawl in the mud for centuries, devouring each other, and the strongest ones turn into demons. I don't know how that transformation happens. Maybe we hatch out of them like caterpillars out of butterflies. No, wait, it's the other way around. Or maybe greater demons sculpt us out of them like so much clay? I don't know what happened to the larva that they used to make me. In my own memory, it begins with vague, fragmentary images. Terrors, executions, orgies. I remember some poor lad half gnawed by the larva. He was crying and begging to be killed. And I pointed at him and laughed and said I wouldn't. Desmond, forgive me, I'm so ashamed. How did you end up turning against the Abyss? Temptation. Strange, isn't it? So many people believe that good is important, but it's boring and unpleasant. And all that's enjoyable and tempting pertains to evil. Even the servants of kind gods often think so, do they not? You have no idea how easy that makes the role of a temptress. Well, it was my great fortune to discover that it's not always like that. My last victim was a priestess of Desna, the tender of dreams. As you know, demons do not sleep. Mortals always compare their greatest moments to dreams. So, I decided it would be interesting to see for myself, and while I was at it, forgive me, goddess, to mock Desna. This priestess lay in my arms, dying of my kiss. I I remember every smallest detail. The cold sweat on her skin, her eyes rolled back into her head, her weak whisper. It's so difficult to recount. Well, I dove into her mind to see what mortal dreams were like, but the goddess saw me in her realm, and it turned out I remained there far longer than I planned. What did Desna do to you? As a punishment, she gave me mercy. I often think, why me? She could easily have blown me away like smoke with the flick of her finger. The gods rarely trouble themselves with the lives of mortals, and even less so with demons. But for reasons of her own, she paid me special attention. She awoke in me the memories of the sinners whose souls were used to create me. All those humans, I knew nothing of them until Desna showed me. Each of them had their own dreams, and a world without pity trampled each of them and placed them on a path that led to the abyss. Their memories, all their hopes and pain. I'm sorry, it's hard for me to talk about this. You see tears well up in the succubus's eyes. Arushale wipes her tears and continues. The most important thing I realized was that every mortal is a little world of hopes and dreams, and that although I might be a succubus, I didn't have to live forever with those beastly, boring pleasures and tortures of the abyss. I can be free. I can be myself. If only I can understand who I am. You don't know who you are. What of you? Do you know who you are? Are there many mortals who can make that claim? I mean, after that whole incident that happened with Nenio a while ago. Before returning me to the mortal realm, Desna whispered something to me. I can still hear her words. She asked me, "And what do you dream of?" And I don't know. I still don't. You see, demons are simple creatures. Each is guided by 2 or 3 strong sins. Before my conversion, my sins were all I was. A ball of desire without anyone behind them doing the desiring. Desires for sex, for flattery, and food. Lust, pride, and gluttony, then. But now I have me, and it's amazing, but it's so complicated. Arushale makes an apologetic gesture and smiles. What did you do after Desna converted you? I traveled. In the beginning, I thought it wise to keep away from demons and their temptations. Run off to Absalom, or perhaps even further, to another plane. But then I realized that I didn't deserve freedom yet. The abyss was still in me. It called to me, tempting me, seducing me. If I ran away, I would soon return to my old habits. That is why I came here, to join the war, to remember who my enemy is, to defeat the demons, not just for the mortal world, but for myself as well. Because if I don't kill my past, it will always be reaching for me. I'm a wonderful liar. I'm no longer proud of it, but it's still true. The demons never suspected my treason until the very end. I lived as a spy and regularly reported back to the priests of Desna whatever I learned. Naturally, I concealed my identity from them as well. I would never have been caught, but when I learned that Descaria was planning an attack on Canabras, there was no time for caution. I risked everything to warn you, and paid with my freedom. Thank you for not running from evil, but confronting it. Yes, I'm glad I did, but... You know, it's hard. Evil calls me back every day. And when it's so close... What if one day I grow tired of fighting? So do you worship Desna now? The goddess did a lot for me, more than I ever deserved. Asking anything more of her would be impudent. I'm grateful for her, but I do try not to trouble her with my prayers. Thank you for your answers. I hope they didn't upset you too much. At least not as much as they upset me. May I ask you a personal question? The kind of question a mortal might ask a succubus. You want to talk about sex? Ask me anything. I'll not keep secrets from you. But don't expect to hear anything lighthearted or pleasant. The kiss of a succubus is deadly, isn't it? Not just the kiss. Any caress, of any kind, sucks the life from mortals. And there's nothing I can do about it. Oh! Suddenly it hit me. That's kind of like she has the same she would have the same problem as Rogue from the X-Men, wouldn't she? Huh. I never made that connection before. Arushale touches her lips ever so slightly. For mortals, tenderness is tenderness and violence is violence. But I don't know what it's like to kiss and not inflict pain. I just hope my my observations of mortals will help me understand. Young lovers, old spouses, even what mortals condemn as promiscuity. To me, it all looks like something amazingly human. I feel like the first one is a step on the path to romance. Wait, you mean you don't just watch people during the day out in the street? Well, I never touch anyone. I never harm anyone. I just watch and listen. Is that bad? Let's just say they wouldn't be happy if they found out you were watching. But don't worry, they'll never find out. Don't forget, I'm a very good spy. Right. So, what is sex between demons like? Everything demons do is a sort of cannibalism. Ah, so sex between demons is vor. Got it. Each devours mortals and other demons in their own way. Some enjoy literally tearing off pieces of flesh with their teeth. Others like to subdue and turn their prey into slaves and living tools. Some feed on others' humiliation. It comes in different forms, but the essence is always the same. Another being is an object to be used for your own pleasure. Demon sex doesn't differ from any other type of violence. In my former life, it was something I did to others, or others did to me. Only one person ever received pleasure, not the other. Do you still feel desire? Arushale keeps a long silence as she searches for the right words. You see, on the one hand, my succubus nature remains with me. The desire I feel is the one from my old life. When I look at any mortal, I immediately imagine how... But that feeling, that desire, it's not what mortals feel. When you like someone, you don't ponder how good it would feel to drink their soul, do you? You think about how good it would feel to be together. Together, you see? You know how you want someone and at the same time not want to destroy them? For me, it's always one and the same. True despair rings in Arushale's voice. I'm not even talking about love, just the common mutual affection of mortals when they're not poisoned with violence. Now I know that I've never felt it. It's hard to imagine how it's even possible. Love is a wonderful feeling. I believe you will be able to experience it someday. I hope so. It's just that I don't deserve it. Who would dare love a predator from the abyss who by her very nature is unable to return those feelings? Do not lose hope. One day you will find someone to teach you how to feel. Thank you. It is hard for me to imagine right now, but I still can hope. Thank you for being so open. Tell me about life in the abyss. I can't tell you about all of the abyss. I've only seen a small part. If you like, I can tell you about the Midnight Isles in Alushanira. Tell me about the Midnight Isles. In the ocean of Ishiar, not far from the mouth of the river Styx, there is a chain of islands. This is the realm of Nocticula, the queen of the Succubi. There is no sun there, only a moonlit night alternating with a moonless one. Each of the islands is one of Nocticula's trophies, the remains of a powerful entity that perished at her hand. As you see, you cannot take a step in the abyss without treading on corpses. Tell me about Alushanira. The Profiri city is Nocticula's capital. There's no city like it in the mortal world. Absalom is a village in comparison. Millions, I don't exaggerate, millions of demons and mortals live there. Some come involuntarily, not only from Galarian but from other planes as well. Nocticula keeps an open boundary, and enjoys having many guests, merchants, and travelers in the city. Some arrive in chains. The slave trade is the most thriving business in the city. From afar, the city may seem a merry place. Many of its dwellers do enjoy themselves, until it's their turn to become someone else's toy. It's a city of suffering, Falai, of cheerful festive torments that everyone in the city inflicts on those around them. What are some places of interest in Illusionera? The heart of the business quarter is the flesh markets, where the slave trade takes place. I grew up in the mansion of Lady Vilexia. Her house is always full of guests doing their best to entertain her. Those whose performance is not to her liking risk remaining at her house forever. The main attraction of the Succubi city is, of course, the brothels, the 10,000 delights. I need not tell you what they offer. If you can imagine it, someone is selling it. Not far from there you can find the Harem of Ardent Dreams, which serves as a sort of city hall. Shamira, Nocticula's right hand and mayor of Illusionera, receives her visitors there. For those who prefer bloodier sport, there are many arenas in the city. The most famous of them is Battle Bliss. Battles run continuously, without breaks and without rules. It doesn't matter what trickery you use to win, it only matters how much fun the crowd is having. And above it all towers the House of Silken Shadows, Nocticula's palace. Hundreds, thousands of towers and domes adorned with jewels. There are legends of what happens inside. Many have striven to experience the delights of the Succubi Queen's palace, forgetting that it was built for her pleasure, not theirs. What can you tell me about Nocticula? She's called the Lady in Shadow. They say that she was the first succubus. She's far from the most powerful of the demon lords, but this hasn't kept her from being the ruin of many creatures significantly more powerful than herself, even building her kingdom upon their bones. They say that, like Lamashtu, she strives to turn herself from a demon lord into a true goddess. She enjoys killing, but her favorite tools are seduction and deception. She only stoops to crude violence when there are no other games to play, and even then she backstabs from the shadows. Her favorite weapon is a crossbow, though a silk garrote would suit her better. If you should ever meet her, do not believe a word she says, and do not fall for her provocations. Do not try to beat her at her own game. And most importantly, remember, the worst mistake anyone can make is to underestimate her. Thank you for the information. I'll be happy if it helps. What do you think of the powers I gave you? It's a great temptation. I don't know if I should be trusted with such power. I certainly wouldn't trust myself with it. When you have so much power, it's easy to decide you're a god and the mortals are your toys. Perhaps I should wait until after we defeat the forces of the Abyss. But that's precisely what these powers are for. You take a great risk. I'm not sure I can handle the temptation. It's hard enough as it is. I have to go. I'll be watching you. I'm sure you will be. Alright, let's take a look inside the temple. It shouldn't take long, and I think that'll be where I end the episode.
I'm gone.
See if there's anything of note in the temple. Nothing in there. How about back here? Nobody in here except nobles and peasants, so... Ooh, the History of the World wound. I don't know if we've picked one of those up yet. If you look at my character... Yeah, we already had one of those, I think. Surprisingly, I can pick this lock. I can try to until I pick the lock. Hold on. Oh, fine. Break the lock. Unfortunately, everything was destroyed, so much for that. And we've got the Axe of Iomade. That one I don't think we've gotten. Let's see. The Axe of Iomade. We hadn't. +1 competence bonus on saving throws against disease and sickened effects. Okay, that's actually useful. Nothing in there. That door won't open. And in here is... Hey, we managed to unlock that one. Alright. Well, we can head out of here. And with that, I believe we've finished exploring all the, all that we have here in the streets of Dresden, and exploring inside all the buildings, with one exception. And that is inside the Citadel, the center of our fortress. And that is where we're going to go next, because we have a lot of work that we need to do. So, next episode, we are going to head into the Citadel of Dresden and speak with what is most likely going to be multiple people. But that'll be in the next episode. So, until then, I am Chester44, also known as Fly. That is me and Ivu. This has been a Let's Play of Wrath of the Righteous, and I shall see you all next time.